Hello, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the live stream today once again. Just want to get a quick audio visual check. Is everything okay as we jump straight into this live stream? Emergency one today. Every day is an emergency in this market, but I've got something very exciting to tell you about. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the nuances of all of this technical analysis as well. So there's quite a bit to get through. Once again, I have to say I am really happy with how good the quality of this webcam is. Look at me, like you can see everything. This is so cool. You can see everything behind me. You can see the shops. You can see the Burj Khalifa. You can even see the cranes. Wait, where is it? Where, oh, this is tricky. You can see the crane. Oh my god, there. We just couldn't get this quality before, so I really like how we're enhancing the quality on the channel, making everything a little bit better every day. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the live stream. Shout out to Phil, shout out to Alan. Shout out to everyone who hit up the like button as we're coming into the stream today. Thank you all very much. Let's smash it up if you already know that this is going to be another killer stream, which is going to blow your mind. And I can see your pimples. Ian, I have an amazing skincare routine that consists of being half Pakistani. So actually my skin is amazing. Thank you very much. Shows that lovely shirt. There you go. I love it. I'm really excited. And Bitcoin is at another all-time high, $57,000. Shout out to Omar. Omar, I'm sorry if I missed you. Everyone who hit the like button, shout out to all of you. Thank you all very much. Thank you all for tuning in today. $57,000. Not too bad at all. Not too bad. And so what we have in the market right now is Bitcoin ended up seeing a small pullback just, kind of while I was live streaming. Actually, it was this pullback over here. And then it ended up pumping up to about 56.5, pulled back again. And then we ended up continuing trading higher. And now we're coiling up. So I'm going to talk about this in just a second. But let's dissect what's already happened so that we can jump into the other stuff a little bit later. And what we have right here, quite simply, I think, is if we zoom in a little bit further to the 15-minute time frame, we do have a situation right now where Bitcoin topped out at 56.5 and then fell a little bit lower down to a very small support range, right? I don't think that this is a strong support range at all. However, it had some significance because this is where the price found some support on the way up. This was the pullback during the last live stream. Yeah, this time frame lines up. So I think this was just, exactly kind of 24 hours ago when I was live streaming. This is the pullback that we were looking at. And today, when we managed to top out at 56.5, this is exactly the level right over here. This is exactly the level that we came back down to and then retested it for another leg up. Now, again, this is something that you can tell. It's the wrong microphone, is it? I don't think so. This is something that, turn on the room lights. I don't have any room lights. I'm waiting for that video equipment to come in. Let me light up my face a little bit more. There you go. Hopefully that makes it a bit better. The thing right here is Bitcoin didn't actually find strong support, in my opinion. So, ground level analysis, very simple stuff will, very simple analysis that a beginner might make will just tell you, okay, we found support at this level, cool. What's even cooler about this though, when we dig a little bit deeper, is we ask ourselves, what support level did we bounce off? Did we bounce off a previous all-time high, like this green box over here? Like we did over here? Did we bounce off a previous all-time high? Did we bounce off a really strong support level like $42,000 right over here? No, we bounced off a very comparatively relatively weak level, right? This is a level that we didn't have much of a chance to establish much support at because we didn't find much resistance here, so there's just not much support. Yet we still came down and made really good use of this because, ladies and gents, as soon as we bottomed out at this level, Bitcoin pumped up by 4.5% in 3.5 hours, right? So this is a very quick pump and fairly sizable. Within 3.5 hours, the majority of this actually happening within the space of only 45 minutes. We're going up by 3%. I know that this doesn't sound super crazy to you in percentages, but listen, you got to take it into consideration this way. If somebody bought Bitcoin at $5,000, which, by the way, would have been like less than a year ago that Bitcoin was at $5,000. Yeah, it's about 11 months ago Bitcoin was at $5,000. So it's not a long time ago, right? It's not a long time ago that Bitcoin is trading at that level. 11 months ago, this kind of price action would have doubled their money again. So I know that it doesn't sound like a lot, but 3% right now is still a lot of price action. And again, we zoom in and we take a look at the fact that it's happening off a relatively weak support level. To me, that is bloody exciting. It shows that this trend has so much juice in it. And the second aspect of this, we're really diving quite deep into what this is showing us, is that we formed a bit of a falling wedge formation right here, right? Let me get my beautiful parallel channel out. Let me draw this for you. Bam, right there. We've got an all-time high set, formed a falling wedge, falling channel, descending channel, I'm sorry, that's the correct word, and then we ended up pumping out very, very nicely. Then on an even smaller time frame, we formed a little bull flag and then ended up trading higher. But here's the good news. Right now, we are in another pattern just like that. Bam, right there. It's very, very early days of this pattern. It could actually be a few different things. It could be an ascending channel, an ascending triangle. We've already seen one of them. Where was it? I don't remember where. Yeah, I think it was right here. We saw it on a very small time frame. I might be mistaken about that, but we've already seen an ascending channel very recently. We could be looking at another ascending channel right now. We could be looking at a parallel channel, you know, just kind of trading sideways and a bit of a bull flag right now. I think that would make complete sense. Bam, right there. We find some resistance at about 57. We find some support at about 55. I think this makes a lot of sense for two reasons. Number one, it's actually the same thing I said to you before. I would expect that Bitcoin tops out at around 48K. You guys will remember that I was trading a long position as soon as Bitcoin. Now, if those of you who are paying close attention, you're going to notice very clearly what I was doing in this trend. I'm going to talk to you about it a little bit later. VIPs see me doing this all the time. They saw how I pulled. Right now, I'm in an 80% profit in my new Bitcoin long position that I opened yesterday. So completely outperforming the entire market. Nothing here on the side of my screen. Cardano's up by 22%. I'm up by 80%. Nothing in the market is coming close to the gain that I made over the past 24 hours. But anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit later. What I mentioned to you is that I went long at about 43, somewhere around here, 42.8, something like that. And I rode this level up to something like 47K, and I closed out at a 50% profit. And the reason that I closed out at this kind of level right here is because I was expecting to initially find some resistance before that 50K level, right? It's just as we get closer and closer to the big round number, which in our case right now is up here at about $60,000. As we get closer to that big round number resistance, I do expect some people to start kind of selling off just preemptively because they expect that there will be a lot of people selling here. So the people who think they're smarter than the masses will sell a little bit before, and people who decide to do that will actually think, well, I'm going to sell a little bit before that, and so on. And that's why in this case, with this previous run that we had at the 40K up to 50K level, that's why we topped out at $48,000 and retraced all the way back down to 43, right? That's exactly why it happened, in my opinion. I think that's a really, really big part of what happened in the market, and I think that's exactly what we could be seeing right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we caught a little bit more resistance at this 57K range, and what makes even more sense is finding more support at 55K, because, you know, put it this way, if we're finding psychological resistance, right, 60K resistance, that comes in a little bit prematurely, a couple $1,000s lower, you know, what is this, like 2-3% lower? Let me just calculate this real quick. This is 4% lower. We're finding a little bit of premature resistance, which is super common in these kind of markets, but it's all based off psychological levels. Well then, ladies and gents, I think it makes a lot of sense that Bitcoin can keep finding support at this psychological $55,000 level. So actually, I can trace this down a little bit lower, down to a level like, yeah, kind of over here, and this would make a little bit more sense for a sideways trading range, in my opinion, for Bitcoin at the moment, which is absolutely great, because I entered my long position where? All the way right down over here on this dip is where I entered my Bitcoin long position. I told VIP members that I was considering it for quite a while. I even told you guys in the video. I didn't mention what the position is, but I teased at it, and actually I made it really obvious that I was going to trade that. Again, if you were paying attention, you would have been able to pick that up pretty easily. I'm sure many of you did. Actually, I'm curious, how many of you did pick that up? Please let me know in the comments. I'm just looking at the viewership today. Thank you all for tuning in. 600 viewers in here today. If you are enjoying this live stream already, please smash up the likes. If you think it's been useful already, please smash up the likes. But like I said over here, I'm very, very happy with my long entry level right here. And based off these psychological levels, I think it'll make a lot of sense if Bitcoin finds support at 55K, which is another psychological round number. But that's not even the best part yet. The best part yet, in my opinion, I did. So yeah, someone in the comment, Justin, yeah, you knew. I mean, look, it was super obvious what my position was, right? You know, like it's not really something I need to, I'm struggling to hide. I'm sorry, I just had some issues there. But FORFLIES still in my position, same time with less leverage. Yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of people ended up trading that move. I will talk about Ethereum in a second. How is Dubai? Obviously, it's absolutely great. It's the best place to be right now. But anyway, stick to the analysis for a minute. The thing that makes this really, really good, the best part about this, in my opinion, right now, is actually more so that we're in an aggressive trend now. And this is the same thing that I've been talking about for quite a while, where I was mentioning that what's normal in a market like this. I'm going to keep on saying this to you now that you know I was correct. Because I like to say this before it happens and then after it happens as well. It's good to revisit analysis in hindsight to verify if it was correct, so you know you can do it again and again and again. Same with trading and things like that. And also, just on this YouTube video as well, what I mentioned to you guys super clearly is that what is normal in a market like this is massive price jumps like this right here, like this right here. We've now pretty much fulfilled exactly what I said was going to happen. I was super vocal about it when Bitcoin was slowly trading up over here, where I said that I was expecting a big move like this to come right after we clear the psychological resistance at $50,000. So shout out to you guys who were subscribed to this YouTube channel only for at least just a couple of days, at least like a week. You would have absolutely heard this very well. This is what's normal in the market. And the good thing is, ladies and gents, this is the other thing that I kept on saying to you, is that Bitcoin, it traded sideways, it consolidated, it did something other than breaking the all-time high for 31 days, right? Bitcoin set the all-time high over here, and it didn't exceed the all-time high for 31 days when it topped out at $42,000. And right after that, we entered another slow trading range, which was just a rising channel right over here, an ascending channel right here, which again, it wasn't what is normal in these markets in my books. This is what's normal. This is not, right? These slow ascensions are not normal in these kind of markets. It's these big ones that are normal. And so the fact that we went out of one big consolidation range right here, again, this isn't consolidation. I got to make this super clear for those of you who are new to the channel. I'm just a bit of an idiot. I don't know what the correct words are when I'm live streaming because I have to multitask and do a lot of things, but this is not a consolidation range. This is more like a pullback and then subsequent rise up, but I'm calling it consolidation just for the sake of simplicity. We went out of one consolidation range, which is not a consolidation range, and then into another one, which again is not a consolidation range, and then into another one. And what's really important about this is that each of these got shorter, right? This one was 31 days. This one was, actually, I'm going to calculate how long this one lasted. This one lasted 8 days. The next one lasted about 2 days. And right now, I think that we could be in a very short-term one right here. I think that, just a couple of hours, I don't know, like a day max. I wouldn't expect that Bitcoin ends up trading in this range for too long before potentially carrying on higher, purely because there's just not much reason to be afraid of Bitcoin rising higher right now. It's cleared that big resistance area, and crucially, and this is the biggest part, which makes it the best in my opinion right now, crucially, we've come out of an area of comparatively pretty low volatility, and we entered another area of comparatively low volatility, and then another. And again, it's the same thing that I said to you in the previous few live streams. Just because it hasn't happened yet, it doesn't mean I don't think it's going to happen. In fact, the fact that it hasn't happened yet is telling me that it just is yet to happen, and it will happen in the future. I can't guarantee that. I'm not a financial advisor, so you shouldn't be taking my content as financial advice or anything like that. But I absolutely do believe that what we're seeing in the market is now we are in a more volatile trading range, and I have to ask myself, does it make sense that we're in a more volatile trading range? Have we overcome psychological resistance? Yes. Have we consolidated a lot more than we needed to? Yes. Have we had good pullbacks? Yes. From 42 down to 31. Have we had enough pullbacks in this trend? Yeah, I think so. I think that we might be due for another pullback relatively soon, or put it this way, I don't necessarily think that we're due for a pullback, but I think that now, I wouldn't be surprised if the bullish energy starts running out of steam. So I'm not saying it's going to reverse, but I am saying I wouldn't be surprised if we lose some momentum now. So those are some things that I'm taking into consideration right now. But the fact is, if we are now in a high volatility range, then we're just not going to last trading sideways for a long time. I mean, this thing, it can take legs up again super soon. The resistance is pretty close. Like I said, it's about 4 or 5% away from where we are right now. Let me actually calculate this real quick. So from our current price up to $60,000. Yeah, it's about 5% away. That's easy work. I mean, Bitcoin over the past, just 1 or 2 days is already up by like what, yeah, 9-10%. So I absolutely think that this kind of gain can come pretty quickly in this market right now. And the fact is, it's the same thing I keep on saying. It's just that nobody wants to sell their Bitcoins, and until and unless we get some completely unpredictable big piece of news that shakes the market, I think that that's not going to change. I think that there is still going to be a lot of reason for Bitcoin to pick up momentum and keep rising higher. So we go to the title of this live stream today, next stop 75k or 100k. I think that because we are quite seriously, quite obviously operating off psychological resistance areas right now, and that's because we're at all-time highs. We're obviously going to be operating mostly based off psychological areas. I think that does mean, either 75k is the next big number. I don't know, what do you guys think? Maybe 60k is the next big number, but I think 75 is a little bit more significant. Beyond that, $100,000. Obviously, I think that's going to be really tricky for Bitcoin to break because it's a big psychological barrier. A lot of people will rightfully be taking profits at those levels, but broadly speaking, I think that makes a lot of sense right now, and I think it's also important to address why I think that this market is going to be moving based off psychological levels. And the reason that I think that, let's blow up the camera for a minute because I don't need the chart right now. The reason that I think we could be looking at some psychological resistance up ahead and not much else, unless there's some big news that comes out, the reason I think we're looking at that is because we're at all-time highs, and a lot of the people who are buying in right now are just buying in because of fear of missing out. And so if they're buying in because of fear of missing out, which is purely psychological, not really a technical reason to buy, it's just a psychological one, then it makes sense that we respond mainly to psychological areas of resistance. And we've already done that, so it's been proven. It's not like I'm not completely sure about this or anything. By the way, I prefer it with the lights lower. Let me know what you think. I think the whole camera just looks a little bit better when the lights are low. But right here, that's kind of what I think. I think that because we've been responding to psychological resistance so well already, we've confirmed that quite a few times. And then the fact that no one smart is buying at these levels anymore. I'm sorry to say, if you bought now, cool, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but obviously the smart people would have bought much lower. A lot of the time now, when you get slightly less smart money buying, they are buying for more psychological reasons. And so it makes sense that it's mainly psychological factors that drive the market and that crash the market. So I think those are some really, really important things to keep in mind. I am going to be going through your questions in just a minute. I see quite a few questions. Thank you all for tuning in today once again. Please smash up the likes. We're up to 200 likes, really trying to get this a little bit higher. It is the Burj Khalifa behind me. Yes, Ritik. We have had these shadow band issues, by the way. I haven't been talking about them a lot lately compared to before, but we have this YouTube channel is getting hit pretty bad by the shadow bans. So subscribers are still not getting notified for the videos, and that's why I keep saying that the best way to make sure you get notified for them is by being in our free Telegram channel with the first link down in the description below. But if you just hit the like button, it's more likely that YouTube will start recommending the content to people who want to see it. They just don't know that I'm live right now. So am I in a big empty room? Yes, I am. Is there any issue with the audio? Because there's no one talking. There's just the air condition going on, and I'm sorry, I think we're just gonna have to deal with it because it's way too hot here. Good problem to have. Ariel, I heard he likes fish and chips. I really like fish and chips, and I miss it because I haven't been in London for so many months now, which is not a bad thing, but I'm pretty happy with that. Which webcam am I using? I actually don't know. My assistant bought it for me. I'm not sure. I just asked it to get me the best one. There's a little echo. Okay, yeah. This echo, unfortunately, not possible to fix right now. That's gonna have to... Okay, you put the sound down, great. Alright guys, so I'm gonna carry on a little bit further before I start diving into your questions, but you can start dropping them in the comment section. Thank you all for hitting the like button. As usual, tag me at FORFLIES in the comments that I do see your questions. If you don't tag me, I will assume that your question is not a comment because we get a lot of actual comments. Ethereum up to $2,000. So yet another thing that's not surprising. It's broken that big psychological resistance area, and it wasn't much of a problem. You know, if we zoom in onto the 1 hour time frame, Ethereum broke this level on its first attempt, you know, like it was nothing, like this level didn't even exist, which is absolutely perfect. I really, really like that. I'm very, very happy with it. Thank you very much, Greg, for hitting the like button. I'm very, very happy with the fact that Ethereum broke above the 2K level. Unfortunately, I did mention that I thought Ethereum can go up to 2.2, 2.3K if it breaks 2,000. It didn't happen. We've actually dipped lower, but that's fine. The fact that Ethereum is still performing nearly as well as Bitcoin in the past 24 hours, I think, is pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with how it's working, and right now, seeing this big pump on Ethereum, you know, it doesn't come as a surprise. It's broken that big psychological resistance area. And of course, like I said, I'm looking at levels more like $2,500. So that's still 25% away. Yeah, it's not far. Only 25% away for Ethereum now to reach that level. And crucially, I think that that's going to come as soon as Bitcoin kind of takes a break with its uptrend. So if Bitcoin retraces downwards, which right now looks fairly substantial, let me see how big now. Okay, it's only about -7%, so that can happen in a day. But you know, if Bitcoin if it does start trading sideways, which I don't think will happen, if it trades up to near 70K and then it starts trading sideways, something like that, I think that's where Ethereum is going to have a little bit more of a chance to end up rising up quite nicely. And I think that's the reason that Ethereum didn't actually trigger a massive rally lately. I think it's purely because Bitcoin still has the spotlight, and when Bitcoin has the spotlight, most of these other coins don't really move much, other than small exceptions like Cardano, which can pump up on basically no volume. Cardano is moving absolutely beautifully right now. You guys heard my analysis very, very recently. Come on, like if you guys were watching like just the past 2-3 live stream, you would have 2-3 live streams, you would have heard this perfectly, where I mentioned that this range between these two blue lines was moving absolutely beautifully for Cardano. I even showed it to you historically. This analysis turned out to be absolutely perfect, like a lot of it is actually panning out on this channel lately, and that's purely the reason. You know, if you guys have been wondering how I have such a good success rate with this analysis with my trades, it's because so much of this is happening based on psychology right now. So if you're good at analyzing psychology, which doesn't change, please stop spamming the chat, Patrick. If you're good at analyzing psychology, which doesn't change, then you actually have a very strong advantage in this market. And what I mentioned to you before is that Cardano, when it opened on Binance, it topped out between these two blue lines. Then we found resistance here. Then we found a big level of support here. And the reason that this support was important was for two reasons. Number one, we had a massive downtrend which ended at the support level. So that shows how strong the support level was. You know, it's like you've got an arrow being shot through pieces of paper, and then right at the end there's a metal shield, and so the arrow penetrates each piece of paper, but it stops at the metal shield. That's what this blue line was for Cardano. Not only did it stop a really, really aggressive downtrend, but it also initiated a very aggressive uptrend. After that, we ended up finding some support in this range. Let's move the chart back to something that's a little bit easier to analyze. We ended up finding some support in this range. We ended up finding, yeah, a little bit more, a few more bounces, some big resistance, some big resistance, big reversal points happening at this range. More resistance just recently, just like 6-8 months ago. And now we've ended up breaking up from this level. So I think it makes complete sense that Bitcoin actually you know, had some really nice price action here where it kind of fluctuated between, Cardano had some really nice price action here where it fluctuated between these two blue lines. Barry, I used to say Cardano is a shitcoin. Yeah, it is a shitcoin. That's not really the point. It's just easy to trade. All of these are shitcoins. Let's just get that out of the way. It's not like I have special treatment. These are shitcoins. I just think they're good to trade as well. So just for the record, by the way, I do occasionally trade bcash and XRP. I do think they're absolute shit, and so mostly I just short them, but you know, they're still good to trade. And it's super clear now that this historic area of support, which it looks like is like 4 years old now, something like that, maybe like 3.5 years old. Let's see. Yeah, so about 3.5 years old now, this this historic support level for Cardano. It's come in clutch. It's absolutely saved the market for Cardano. So this was very impressive. Shout out to anyone who saw this and potentially took advantage of it after watching the live stream, because I think this was really obvious in hindsight. Cardano after, I mean, look at how precisely it bounced off my blue lines as well. I mean, you know, it barely even dropped below them. This is, you know, this is what really excites me. Look at this, down by -0.7%, down by -1%, not even that. You know, I mean, it really, with the exception of this big fake out, and this was a big fake out, but I think this was before I drew the lines, if I'm not mistaken. With the exception of this big fake out, it actually made really, really good use of the support. And now, from the low all the way to the high, to our current price, up by 23%, up to the high, up by 26%. So again, if you traded these kind of things on leverage, you know, call it 5 times leverage, for example, a 26% profit on 5 times leverage would turn into about 125% profit, and 125% profit would more than double your money. $100 would turn into $225. So that's super, super impressive. 100k would turn into 225k. That's super, super impressive. Someone asking me how high I think Cardano can go from here. You know, the other crucial thing to keep in mind with the red line that I drew is that once Cardano is past this red line, which it is past now, I think that it has a pretty easy rise up to 2,300 Satoshis, which I've got some neck issues now. Actually, I had them before, but you guys recommended me to go to a chiropractor, and she fixed me, but chiropractors are weird. They're kind of scary, you know? Like, I think they're psychopaths, so I don't want to go back to her. But yeah, I think between these two red lines, you know, it has another easy, you know, 20% range to rise up. From this red line, it has another easy 28% to rise up. If it clears this one, I think it's another easy 36% rise up. You know, if you believe Cardano is going up to the all-time high, then right now I think it's very, very well set up to do that. The reason that I have this red line drawn is there are quite important market reversals that have happened at this point as well. You remember with this big reversal that I talked about just a few minutes ago, it ended a big downtrend, initiated a big uptrend. Well, that was the wick, but the candles, they stopped at this level, at this red line. So both are important, and the fact that the red line is here I think makes a lot of sense. This is also this second red line where I'd expect to find some resistance. This is where Cardano found a lot of resistance historically going back 3 years, and so I think that absolutely... Crypto Avery, Phil, in the comments, if you see comments like Crypto Avery, yeah, you deleted it, awesome. Yeah, you should actually ban those people because they are scammers. So if they tell viewers to go on their channel because of some bugs or hacks, they're definitely hopefully she's not watching you right now. No, she's not. She doesn't know the channel, the chiropractor. But absolutely, I think that there's a fair bit of resistance that Cardano established over here, although historically hasn't really come to this level. The last time Cardano interacted with this level was about 2.5 years ago, maybe a little bit more, nearly 3 years ago now. So I think that there's quite a bit of space for Cardano to rise up to this level, and I don't think it's going to find a lot of resistance here. It's actually cleared the majority of its resistance already, so I think that looks really, really good. If you're looking for a place to trade coins like this, then one of the main ones that I use, I've been talking to you guys about quite a bit, is Phemex. And where is Phemex? I've actually lost it. Oh, here it is. Phemex, with the link in the description. You can sign up to Phemex and you can trade Cardano right here, Cardano USD, actually on leverage as well. So I trade everything on leverage. Like I said, 5 times leverage, 26% gain becomes 125% profit. That's super impressive because you get to multiply your reward and your risk by 5 times with that example. So if you do want to find a place to trade and you do want to choose one particular place that I like as well, Phemex is right here. I do work with them, so obviously I have a vested interest with them, but I'm super impressed with how they've been so far. They're definitely outperforming exchanges like Binance because Binance is dog shit. It's good, but it's compared to an exchange like Phemex, I think it's not so good. And actually, I think they're suffering from problems of being a little bit too big and having a psycho CEO. But fortunately, it's not really the same thing for Phemex. I recently learned, thanks to you guys, that Phemex is actually based in Singapore. Granted, I should know that because I have a sponsorship with them. So I'm sorry if you're watching this, Federico, but I didn't actually know that, but I think that makes it even more impressive. So if you do want to find a place to trade and you want to trade in a place where I do, and like I said, just to have a backup, then today is definitely the day to set up backups. If it's not Phemex, it doesn't matter. You can Google any exchange, but Phemex is one of the ones that I use. There's a link in the description, and if you want to learn how to use it, then you can type this into YouTube right now. Pause the video, open a new tab, and type this into YouTube to watch my tutorial on Phemex, where I explain to you what every button does, how to use it, how to gain access to it, and different things like that. So this is definitely worth checking out if you're interested. But coming back to Cardano here, I think it looks really, really good. I'm not tempted to trade this right now. However, I am going to be looking at this quite closely. The reason I'm not interested in trading it at the moment is because I am in a very good trade on Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin's at $57,100 nearly, which is pretty damn impressive. Going off this analysis from yesterday, this is the analysis that I shared in VIP, where I told members that I would be looking to open a long position on Bitcoin if it dips back into this green box, which was the previous all-time high right here. Bitcoin set an all-time high over here. I mentioned if we revisit the all-time high, I will be very keen on opening up a long position and riding that wave up. And if we go back to my Bitcoin chart now and we zoom in a little bit closer, we can see that it was pixel perfect, how we ended up coming down to this support level exactly like I showed in that screenshot. I mean, let's just compare them side by side. This is a bloody work of art. Look at this. I showed a little bit of a dip down, just a very quick one, then a big rise up. And right here, we got a little bit of a dip down and then a quick rise up. So this dip is actually what made me enter my long position. I briefed VIP members on it. It opened a few hours later. I told them of my intentions to trade this hours and days before as well. So they had a lot of notice as usual. All of my trades are very well thought out. VIP members saw exactly what I was doing right there. And I've ran this position up to right now as I speak. It's at something like plus 87% profit, which is super.